Hi guys, Scott Woodward to talk about the North Queensland Cowboys 2014, and we have a new coach. Paul Green comes in for Neil Henry, and look, based on what we've seen from Neil Henry in the last few years, he coached the Cowboys 123 games for 58 wins, and that's a 47% strike rate. And when you have a list of the quality of the Cowboys, particularly that includes Jonathan Thurston, that is a deplorable record. They've just disappointed me year after year. I've always thought that the Cowboys were capable of winning the competition, given the quality of their players, their backline, their forwards, but they consistently let me down with poor defence, and I just never saw any structure at key times with the Cowboys, and they gave some very soft tries on their line when they really needed to protect their line. Now, I don't know if Paul Green's going to be any better. I don't know Paul Green. I'm told he has a very good knowledge of the game, and he's just come from the Roosters. So if he can copy what he's learned from Trent Robinson at the Roosters, who are the best defensive team in the NRL, and he can copy a little bit of that onto the Cowboys, they can certainly win this competition. There's no doubt about that. The unknown here is we're going with a rookie coach, so we don't know how it'll be. But the good thing that Paul Green has got going for him is that he has got an incredibly talented list, and he's coming from a low base. By that I mean he's replacing Neil Henry with a 47% strike rate. So he has to be able to improve on that. I'm tipping that he can. The other big changes is that Lachlan Coote is coming for Matty Bowen. Matty Bowen is a club legend, and he had a terrific year last year, probably a bit stiff to be sacked, or if you're like not re-signed. But Lachlan Coote is a very classy player, and I think he'll be very good for this side. What I think the bonus, if you like, for Matty Bowen not playing this year for the Cowboys is that he was such a dominant player, Matty, and he used to come up and play in the halves a lot and complement Jonathan Thurston, and it used to work well for the club. But what happened is that the number 7 was just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. So they basically didn't have a number 7 playing a traditional halfback role. So I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Louis, who I think will be the starting halfback, I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a lot more dominant this year. Without Matty Bowen there, he'll take that genuine organising halfback role and complement that right side. And I think while Thurston will complement the left side, but the two of them might have a much better combination than what they've had in previous years. So I'm going to be interested to see if Robert Louis takes more of an organising and a commanding role than what he's had in previous years. If he does, that'll be very, very good news for the Cowboys. And if Lachlan Coote can come in and chime into the back line and find a good combination with his 6 and 7, that will be good as well. Now, both Louis and Thurston are very good tactical kickers. They both put up a good bomb. And Lachlan Coote is the best timer of a ball, running, jumping up in the air and taking a bomb of anyone in the NRL. There's guys that are probably better taking a bomb from a wing position, but coming through the middle third and taking a bomb, Lachlan Coote is uncanny the way he gets his timing right. And his strike rate of doing that from his previous club at Penrith was just uncanny. He's just very, very good at that. So I think we can already put down that Coote will be scoring quite a few of his tries from bombs. And he's lucky that he has 2 very good tactical kickers in the side that will put him in that position. So it all looks good for the Cowboys. We have a few unknowns, but they're probably good unknowns. They finished 8th last year. I think that they can be a contender for the top 4 position. I'm suggesting that they'll probably finish just out of it. I've got them down for 5th at the moment. And that can change dramatically depending on these new ins and how the case goes. I want to talk about the hooker. It's been a big problem for the Cowboys in previous years. They've brought in Cameron King from St George. Now, whether or not he'll start in place of Ray Thompson, I don't know. Look, Ray Thompson is a good defender, but he doesn't really scare anybody when he's got the ball in his hands. He's not that zip, and he doesn't, when he gets the ball, I don't really expect that he's going to do anything earth-shattering. Now, Cameron King has had a lot of injuries. If he can have a good off-season, I think he may very well be the answer that the Cowboys have been looking for in recent years. The last 2 or 3 years has been a big problem for them, that number 9 position. They've also got Anthony Mitchell, but Anthony Mitchell and Ray Thompson just haven't been the answer as far as I'm concerned. Michael Morgan wasn't the answer either. So Cameron King offers him something, and I think if he can have a good season, Cameron King, we talked about Louis going to a new level, and of course Jonathan Thurston is the best player in the world, the best player I've seen since Andrew Johns retired in 2005. And we've also just talked about the other spine player, Lachlan Coote. They're going to have an outstanding spine. Now let's talk about the forward pack. They've got two of the best starting props in world football, as in James Tamou and Matthew Scott. And I have to say, as good a players as they are at rep level, I was a little bit disappointed in both players last year. You know, while they went okay and their stats were okay, they rated highly in daily M's, I thought they were both a little bit down on their very best form. And I don't know whether that was an injury reason or whether they got sick of the coach reason. I don't know. But they have a new coach. They've had a good off-season now. And they've got a reason to be rejuvenated. And if we can see James Tamou and if we can see Matthew Scott come back to their very top form, plus with this back line that we've just talked about, it's going to be outstanding for the club. Now, their two most talented back rowers are Tariq Sims and James Taumalolo. Now, the previous coach absolutely butchered them, in my opinion. He was playing them in state league. He was playing them off the bench. They just didn't know what they were doing. Now, while the coach may struggle to start with both of them, given that they're probably not the world's best defenders, both of them, now I'm assuming that he will do a fair bit of work on that with their defence and maybe improve that side of the game. Joel Riethmuller will come in at lock, and he is a very good defender. And there's a very important role there for him to lock up the middle third of the ground. But to get the ball in Tariq Sims and James Taumalolo's hands, look, one of them I think will probably come off the bench, but I've got them both down as starting. The coach may very well want to start with Glenn Hall or maybe a Gavin Cooper or something like that. It's hard to say, but there's no question the talent is immense in that forward pack. One of the young guns coming through, a guy called Patrick Carthusi, quite a well-known name in rugby league. He's a massive talent, and I expect him to be a regular first grader in this side based on the form that we saw last year of him. Guys like Scott Bolton, Ricky Thorby, Ethan Lowe, I think they will be in contention for those bench spots. But look, it's quite a good bench. Not a stunning bench, but it's an outstanding top 13. And if the coach can get it right, and he can get Lachlan Coote chiming in and complementing his 6 and 7, and we can get the defence right in the forwards, and we can get defence right in the centres. Kane Linnett and Brent Tate give a lot of solidarity. They're two very good defensive centres, and they're also very good in attack when they've got the ball in their hand. So all up, he has some questions to answer in terms of the wings. He may very well start with Winterstein. I'm not a Winterstein fan, but he's probably entitled to be the starting winger. I think he has a lot of options who he can play in that position. Two of his promising young wingers, Kyle Feldt, who went terrific last year, and Wayne Ulugia, both promising young kids, and both went terrific when we saw them come on and play first grade last year. And I think they'll probably end up being the two wingers at some stage during the year. But all up for me, any team with Jonathan Thurston in it has to be a threat in this competition. And with the complementary players that will be around him, and if the coach can get it right, and he doesn't have to improve a hell of a lot to get it right. If he can get that defence right, the North Queensland Cowboys went to the line very strongly last year in the competition. If they can maintain that momentum, I think that they can play top final football. Right at the moment, I've got them finishing 5th, but I will certainly be re-evaluating that after the first month or so. So I think you've got a lot to look forward to if you're a Cowboys fan. I hope you have a good season. Cheers.